going to start with a poem that is actually not my own. It's written by Andrea Gibson, and it kind of speaks to me about how I think poets act in the world and sort of what our job as poets is in the world. The poem is entitled Say Yes, and it's from her collection, Pole Dancing to Gospel Hymns. This is for the possibility that guides us, and for the possibilities still waiting to sing and spread their wings inside us. Because tonight, Saturn is on his knees, proposing with all of his 10,000 rings that whatever song we've been singing, we sing even more. The world needs us right now, more than it ever has before. Pull all your strings. Play every chord. If you're writing letters to the prisoners, start tearing down the bars. If you're handing out flashlights in the dark, start handing out the stars. Never go a second hushing the percussion of your heart. Play loud. Play like you know the clouds have left too many people cold and broken, and you're their last chance for the sun. Play like there's no time for hoping brighter days will come. So one of my morning poems that I'd like to share, it's called Obad, which is the name of a poem about daybreak. Dissolving poems swirl in eddies near the edge of dreaming. Pluvial drumming at dawn plays cryptic cadence on windows. Words tumble out, pour forth from the heavens. A squall of poetry runs in rivulets outside, where a skeleton of a leaf clings to the oak branch for one last dance. Wake up, tilt your head open, drink it all in. I had been reading the newspaper about a Bible-themed park somewhere in the South, and they were describing this park. And there was a line in there that said something about there were thunderstorms and the crucifixion was canceled. And so it just kind of led me to thinking about, Bible-themed parks. And so I've entitled this poem Palm Sunday, which coincidentally is tomorrow. So, Palm Sunday. Welcome to Bible Land. A few announcements and reminders before we get started. Serpents have been spotted in the older sections of the park. Please do not speak to them. No apple picking. And parents, keep an eye on your children. The park is not responsible for loss or damage to your eternal soul. First aid is available in the new section of the park. Follow the signs to the Lazarus tent. Sins are absolved daily on the hour in the Lazarus tent or by visiting the wandering Jesus. But please don't touch his robes. Remember, you may not enter Sodom and Gomorrah without protective eyewear. See park staff for details. The Garden of Eden remains closed indefinitely. Also, expect flooding in certain areas, especially during the rainy season. For those interested in visiting the Tower of Babel, headsets are available for a small fee. Kiosks can be found throughout the park. And don't forget to drop into our Loaves and Fishes Cafe. It's all you can eat. One last item. The crucifixion has been canceled today on account of lightning. However, there will be a stoning later this afternoon. Management is seeking volunteers for this event. Ask your guide for details. Remember that we have resurrections daily, weather permitting. And please don't forget to stop in our gift shop on your way out. It's good for the soul. Ask a salesperson about our frequent visitor rewards program. And thank you for your patience. Have a divine experience. This next poem is a poem that I wrote in reaction or in response to the devastation in Haiti. And there was a picture on the front page of the Washington Post that showed a woman who was just covered with all the dust, and she looked unreal. And she was somebody that was just sort of standing in the street, and they'd gotten this close-up of her. And so I've entitled this poem, "The Painted Lady," and it's for the Haitian people. It's written in sections. So, section 1. The wind whispers no warning. Spirits within are unaware, but still. They rouse in incomprehensible insomnia. Ancestors have no sign to give. The painted lady is coming, bringing the taste of dust to our lips. The aftershocks of all our losses reverberate, tremble us, and we are brought to our knees with dust, earth, rubble. Dust and ancestors and bones and dust and pain and desire and dust and freedom and dust and slavery and dust. Suffocating dust of dreamlike ghosts, freed from the earth when the rumbling begins. Tectonic shifts and plates grinding like bones of dead ancestors. The painted lady has come, walks among us, living and dead and dust. 2. Dust settles among us in every crevice, snowing upon the city, quieting crash of walls, muffling cries, sobs of injured. Dust coats lost darkness survivors, accented by boom of exploding electrical boxes, chasms shifting below. Silent dust permeating every space, talcum fine baby powder dust, coating the cilia of hairs in nose and lungs, rising in a cloud like the second coming. See the woman in the distance, painted like a tribal dancer, dust, blood, thicken upon her. The painted lady is here. 3. She stands and absorbs the dust, blood, rubble, bodies. Spirits of ancestors, of earth, rock, trees, wander, confused by her presence. Why has she called them forth with no warning? What does she want with her dust and destruction? Dust thickens upon them in the wake of questions, but soon the tears will flow, leave tracks, bring the living rain, and thicken the dust to mud. 4. Mud and dust and mud, not of beauty, of health. Mud, born of disaster, like their cousin Katrina, born of poverty. Mud under the nail of the oppressor's thumb. Mud of despair, of hopelessness. Mud in your pores, in your blood. Corpses piling in roadways, mud. Families vanished, dust. Collapsed buildings, mud. Infected drinking water, dust. Hunger, dust. Back alley amputations, mud, blood, sleeping on streets, dust, tears, anguish, mud. Cries of despair, dust. Dust settling before the last tremors take down the hopes of the living. 5. The painted lady vanishes into confusion. Her open lips blow dust one last time, leaving us the taste of her kiss, her words in our mouths. Yele, Haiti.